Hello students, today we are going to continue with the second part of the first chapter, Resources and Development of Geography subject, Social Studies. In this part, we are going to cover the following topics, which includes resources and development, resource management, new opportunities and challenges in resource management, which includes a case study. Let's start with resources and development. Natural resources are the basis of development because the agriculture, mining, construction, and energy sectors depend on them. So do other sectors of the economy. The environment source function is the capacity of the environment to provide these resources. Developmental activities slow down if natural resources are polluted or overexploited and get depleted. If we do not prevent the pollution of our atmosphere, rivers, and streams, and if we do not use non renewable resources in a rational manner, we will soon exhaust our natural wealth. We need to adopt a model of development that ensures that our resources remain healthy and available to us in the long term. The environment should sustain development and continue to bring us prosperity and happiness over the years. This is what we call sustainable development. There is no necessary conflict or contradiction between development and environment. We can have development while protecting and enriching our environment. We should not cause permanent damage to our resources in the pursuit of development. If we understand our environment better, we can manage development in a sustainable way. Environmental scientists have developed the concept of purification capacity or sink capacity, which simply means that the environment has the capacity to contain pollution up to a certain extent. For example, if we throw household waste into a river, plants and animals living in the river consume this waste. The water then remains fit for consumption. However, if we throw excessive waste in the river, the waste cannot be fully consumed by the organisms in the water. The river soon turns into a polluted drain. Today, most of the rivers on which our prominent cities are situated are open gutters. The pollution does not end there. Cities also discharge chemicals that the rivers cannot digest. Detergent soap waste is one such example. It remains in the water and flows out to the sea, polluting it. In villages, people burn wood in stoves, but the volume of smoke emitted by stoves is below the renewal limit of the atmosphere. On the other hand, the smoke released from factory chimneys in industrial complexes is this limit. That is why factories pollute the atmosphere. We can prevent this pollution if we control smoke emission to below the renewal limit. Sink capacity is the capacity of the environment to absorb pollutants. When the volume of waste exceeds the sink capacity, the environment suffers long-term damage. Let us understand with this two examples. Example 1. Current data on groundwater levels in India indicate that the groundwater reserves in many parts of the country are severely under threat because of overexploitation. We are extracting more water than is being recharged. As a result, the water table in about 300 districts in the country has dropped by as much as 4 meters. This is a danger signal. We use huge quantities of groundwater for irrigation in agricultural prosperous Punjab and western Uttar Pradesh, the rocky plateau region of central and south India, and some coastal areas. Our fast growing cities and towns also use groundwater. This kind of indiscriminate exploitation will deplete our groundwater reserves and lower the water table. The second example, endosulfan is a striking example of how a chemical pesticide can adversely affect our environment. In 1976, the government aerially sprayed endosulfan over 15,000 acres of cashew to prevent pest attacks. This was in Kasargod district in North Kerala. This aerial spraying continued every year for 25 years. The pesticides badly affected the air, water, and environment. People living in 11 panchayats face severe health problems, especially the farm laborers. The population of fish, insects, crows, and other birds fell drastically in the affected region. It took a court order a few years ago to discontinue endosulfan spraying. The government is now paying compensation to the affected people. The next topic is resource management. We need to plan the utilization of our natural resources to maintain the ecological balance. This means meeting our current requirements and conserving natural resources for the future. We can adopt the following measures to achieve this balance. The first measure is focus on alternative resources. We can replace resources that cause high levels of pollution with alternative resources. For example, we can avoid the use of coal as far as possible and use natural gas instead. We can also make greater use of solar energy and wind power to ensure long-term energy availability. In addition, we can give incentives and develop systems to promote such alternate energy sources. The second measure is implementation of pollution control laws. The government has enacted many environment related laws and set environmental standards to achieve this goal. What is now required is a strict implementation and observation of these laws and standards. For example, waste should be segregated and recycled. Installing pollution control equipment should be mandatory for industries. The government should establish waste treatment facilities in every region. Industries using dangerous pollutants such as mercury, chromium, etc. should be monitored to control their emission. The last measure which could be adopted is equitable utilization of resources. We live in a consumer age where people aspire for physical comforts. However, a small segment of this population uses a disproportionately large share of natural resources for its own comfort. We would need the resources of our planet Earth to provide this level of comfort to everyone. Gandhiji rightly said, "The world has enough for everyone's need, but not for anyone's greed." Every one of us needs to consider how we can rationally use resources and products. The last topic of this chapter is new opportunities and challenges in resource management, which includes a case study of the Indira Gandhi Canal Command area. This canal starts from the Harike Barrage in Punjab. It traverses the Thar Desert and flows parallel to the India-Pakistan border. The length of its main canal is about 650 kilometers. If the feeder and distributary canals are included, the total length of the canal system is about 9,060 kilometers. The estimated irrigated area by this canal is about 20 lakh hectares, which is quite big area. This irrigated area is also known as the command area. The Thar Desert has massive sand dunes and sparse vegetation. Strong winds constantly shift the sand, so soil erosion is pronounced. In summer, the temperature rises to 50 degrees Celsius. Average annual rainfall is below 10 millimeters, which is very less. That's why this canal was needed. Let's talk about the development work of this canal. Irrigation in phase 1 in the command area began in 1960 and in phase 2 began in 1980. The canal transformed the desert into a lush and moist area. This arrested soil erosion. Afforestation and pasture development were also taken up. Where farmers earlier grew chana, bajra and jowar, intensive irrigation allowed them to cultivate wheat and cotton. Productivity increased manifold. However, excessive irrigation and intensive agriculture over the years led to the problems such as waterlogging and increased salinity. Thank you.